Artist Direct on FM 100.5. Laura Roppe is our guest this morning. The song called Whoopee from her new album, I'm Still Here. There are probably a lot of songs out there in the universe known as I'm Still Here, but I imagine that's the only one called Whoopee. So, Laura, what's the story there?
Well, I've always been prone to nightmares. I was one of those kids that had night terrors, where they run around like a crazy lunatic. So I always had whoobies, and those are, security blankets, something that wards off the nightmares. So during my chemo, my sweet husband, Brad, he's the best. He's the absolute best. He's 6'4" and brawny, and he's not really wear a heart on my sleeve kind of a guy. He cried that first week so much. And so one night, in the middle of the night, it was dark, and he was crying, which I'd become used to. So I looked over, and I said, don't cry, it's all right. And I realized he was crying in his sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and see, Amy gets it. It's very powerful to think of someone crying in their sleep, particularly your sweet husband, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's just heartbreaking. And so I did what any person would do. I leaped out of bed and wrote that song. Right then and there. I mean, I did try to comfort him, but I ran back in, and I woke him up, and I said, wake up. And he said, what? I said, you were crying. And he said, so you woke me up? I said, no, I woke you up because I wrote this song. Listen to this. But it's my most personal song I've ever written. I mean, I'm making a joke, sort of, but whoopee, I need whoobies. We all need whoobies, security blankets, those things that you can clutch when things get rough. And he was my whoopee. He is my whoopee.
Yeah, that's sweet. And he's okay with something terminology that personal in your relationship being put on a record and put out around the country and around the world?
Gee, I never thought about it that way.
Well, if the answer is yes, then he's a wonderful guy. And if the answer is no, it's too late. It's already out there. And
let me tell it to you this way: he loves my song George Clooney, and if my husband can love that, then the guy loves everything I do.
There you go. Well, it's not like you said, you're my Cuddle Lumpkin. So
yeah, that'd be a bit over the top. We're going to play that song George Clooney here in just a minute. It's Artist Direct. Laura Roppe joins us this morning on FM 100.5, brought to you by Holstrom Jewelers in downtown Cresco. So you spent 10 years as a professional lawyer. What did you have a choice to make going into law school of being a musician or going to law school ahead of time?
Well, I was always involved in music, and then I was even a theater major at UCLA, undergrad.
Wow.
And, I was always on that path. But my father was a lawyer, my grandfather was a lawyer, and I don't know if you can relate to the idea of the family business, the pull of it. It's like a gravity. Mm-hmm. So me following this other path of music just felt like I was running off to the circus. Mm-hmm. I had this real pragmatism about me. And anyway, I kind of gave in, I guess, to what I was supposed to be, who I was supposed to be. I was then with my husband, my boyfriend at the time, Brad, and he said, I think I'm going to go to law school. This is when I was graduating from college, and I had sent out headshots or something and not gotten a reply, and I was dejected. And he said, I'm going to go to law school. And I said, me too. And that was it. And as I mentioned, I loved law school. And then I was number one in my class after the first year, and I only say that not to be like, whoopee, but because it kept me on that path thinking, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. And I got all these great offers. I didn't stop to think, maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I still want to follow that dream I've always had. I didn't even stop to think. Off I went. And then one year leads to another, to another, to another, to a mortgage. And then there you go.
And suddenly you are standing there thinking, how did I get here?
How did I get here? Yeah, exactly.
Now, I know you've taken some time off from touring. You did some European dates, and you're going to go back out with. Do you have a band that you're touring with when you go back out on the road later this year?
Great band. I have a fantastic band. Boy, you would love this band.
Yeah.
I mean, I have. You know what's crazy about my music? Of course, I have guitar, bass, and drums, and solid, incredible people. I've got a ukulele player, and I've got a violin player, both full-time in my band.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I just love eclectic sounds. I love being a little bit off the beaten track. So people love seeing me live because I bring something very different to the table than they're used to. Plus, each of my songs has a whole different flavor and flair, usually. So people say you never know what's going to come out of your mouth. I love it.
And your primary instrument, are you a guitarist?
I do play guitar, and I don't normally play when I perform because I'm maybe a 5th grade level guitarist. I'm terrible. Just enough to write, and then I hand the reins over to someone who can wow people. I mean, no one's going to pat me on the back, I figure, live, right? They're not going to go, "Good job, honey, that was really good." So I'd rather not, bring everybody down.
So if we want to find your music, where can we find you on the internets, or where can we find you? Where can we find your stuff? I know first we have to remember how to spell your name, and it's Roppe, correct?
Yeah, Roppe, like Peter Pan E. You know what? I am the total indie route. You can go to my website, which is lauraroppe.com, and Laura is Laura. I'm surprised so many people don't know how to spell that, and that's okay.
There are a variety of spellings of Laura too.
There are. Yeah. It's the old-fashioned way, lauraroppe.com.
Roppe.com.
That's right. And I'd love to think of anybody out there ordering my CD and listening to it. I'm really proud of it, and it's been on the Billboard charts for 10 weeks now consecutively. Mm-hmm. So people are enjoying it. I mean, it's not just me, is what I'm saying.
And inspired largely by, or entirely, should I say entirely by your Kicking Cancer's Behind?
Inspired entirely, completely and entirely. And what's funny is people are surprised that because I wrote it all during chemo, they think that it's going to be oh, poor me, why me? And it's not. It's a celebration. I mean, Whoopee, as you played, is very real and very raw. Most of the other songs are celebrations or anthems. They're a celebration of life, of being here. Uh-huh. So they're really uplifting mostly. And also iTunes, of course, the usual. Okay. But, I hope people will enjoy it and listen to it. I'm very proud of it. I recorded it with my cousin, Matthew, who is in a very popular rock band called RX Bandits. So when I listen to it's also a family affair. It makes me feel good. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to play the track George Clooney off of this album. Well, Amy, you've got a question for Laura.
Yes, inquiring minds want to know, have you actually ever smelled George Clooney?
Oh, it's my goal. It's on my bucket list, Amy. I have a list next to my computer taped on the wall of all the things I still want to do, and it's there in writing.
Smelling George Clooney.
Smell George Clooney. It means getting close enough. If you can smell someone, you're awfully close to them, right?
That's true.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my grandmother, he actually, George Clooney is actually from my neck of the woods, sort of, in Kentucky, and he used to go to the Perkins restaurant next to Northern Kentucky University, and he and his friends would clown around and irritate my grandparents because they'd be causing a ruckus.
Oh, my goodness, he caused a ruckus. I knew it.
Yes.
I knew he would do that. That's so cool.
And Amy can also put you in touch with the person who went to junior prom with him.
Went to the snowball dance with him, and she had to drive because he wasn't old enough to drive.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Is that not the cutest thing you've ever heard in your life?
That's the cutest thing.
And it's so funny because then she said, well, we dated a couple of times, but then I met Randy, which is her husband, and it's just like,
oh my gosh, how does Randy feel? He must be so pumped up.
I beat out George Clooney.
George Clooney, yeah.
So
no, but this song, I know it sounds like I'm a maniac, but let me tell you how it was written, and then people normally then don't view me as a maniac.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the scoop. I love George Clooney. That's not a maniac. I'm not crazy. I love the guy. I think he's incredible. I love him. Well, my girlfriend and I were in chemo together. We were chemo buddies. Actually, she's in the UK, so we were pen pal chemo buddies. And we started chemo on the exact same day, and we always uplifted each other and gave each other little cheery notes and, poured our souls out to each other. And then, by the way, I went over to the UK for a tour, and I met her, and it was incredible. That's awesome. But that's another story. So anyway, we were going back and forth, and we were talking about how the smells in the hospital and all the chemo and the sickness were just bringing us down, and we wanted to smell something better, and we wanted this to be over. And so this song was an embodiment of what life was supposed to be when cancer was over.
George Clooney.
And everything else in the lyrics. But yeah, George Clooney, having the chance to, he represents cancer being over, having fun, and living your dreams.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to hear the song here. And Laura, I want to wish you continued good health. and success, and get back on the road as soon as possible and play music for us, and hopefully you can wind your way into the upper Midwest at some point. We'd love to have you here.
I would love that. It's been a joy talking to you both. You're great. Thank you so much.
It's Laura Roppe, and it's LauraRoppe.com. That's your website, right?
Yeah, or iTunes if it's easier for you.
And Amy, you had one more question?
I was just going to say peace and courage to you.
Thank you, Amy. You too. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
All right, it's the song George Clooney, Laura Roppe, our guest this morning. It's Artist Direct on FM 100.5, brought to you by Holstrom Jewelers in downtown Cresco.
I want to be the kind of girl who eats sushi and has tattoos, always a witty comeback, drinking gin and vermouth. I want to sing my songs in Prague and wear a coat in London fog, go down to Nolens on the dog, never sit at a desk job. I want to smell George Clooney, I bet he'd smell real good. I'd wrap my arms around him and I would breathe him in. Yeah, I would breathe him in. I want to go to a seedy bar and talk to riffraff all day long. I'd find out why they're sitting there and cheer them up with songs. I want to laugh and sing all day, think it's purely optional. I've got a lot, I'm done with that, and now I'm having fun. I want to smell George Clooney, I bet he'd smell real good. I'd wrap my arms around him and I would breathe him in. Yeah, I would breathe him in. A wise woman once said, if you don't ask, then you don't get. So let me get close enough to smell you. If I could finally get up close to perfect beauty on this earth, I'm hoping it'll rub right off and make me pretty too. I'm striving for these lofty things, but in between these thoughts creeping, what if I never feel unique? I want to have it all. I want my happy and my right. I won't give up without a fight. I want to see my name in lights. It's finite, my dear. Life is finite, my dear. I want to smell George Clooney. I bet he'd smell real good. I'd wrap my arms around him and I would breathe him in. Yeah, I would breathe him in. Yeah, I would breathe him in.
Thank you for listening to Artist Direct, presented by Holstrom Jewelers, Elm Street, Cresco. Catch Artist Direct again next week, right here on FM 100.5, KDEC.